Are you Italian?
Yes, I am.
From where?
I'm from small town east, coast. You'll never know, but it's the name of the small town is worth mentioning. It's Mount Uranus, so I'm like from another planet.
Is it really? That's the name of
it? Is. It is.
Monte Urano.
Monte Urano sounds more glamorous in Italian. Yeah.
Is this Le Marche?
Wow. Yes, it is.
An ex-girlfriend.
Wow.
Was from Ascoli Piceno.
Yeah, I'm in the province of Ascoli Piceno. Okay, well, so you know where I'm from.
All right, that's amazing. Yeah. So doubly amazing is how you come to the United States, Texans. Just give it a little background on that story.
It's a long journey before landing in Texas. My family was into theater and into reading books, so that's what actually made me, a filmmaker today. But really, how I got here was through a long list of odd jobs, trying to make a living in Italy and then Spain, and then finally in the U.S. I was here in New York. I had a suit and tie kind of job. And that I lost 8 days after September 11, and I became a victim of September 11. I was paid a full salary for 18 months, with which I actually paid part of the Master in Media Studies at the New School. And at that time, I just wanted to get into teaching. I wanted to pursue an academic career. I moved to the Philippines because I was interested in the scene there and in the people there. While teaching students how to just look around not very far from themselves, just a few inches, and observe their reality. I was teaching them not to bypass their reality, their own reality. I realized that I was actually teaching that to myself. And when I moved to Texas because my mother-in-law was ill with cancer, I reminded myself of that lesson, and that's what I started doing. And 5 years later, I'm fully, involved with the local communities in Texas, and I work with them in these films.
So that's how you met this family of, was it like 8 girls or something like that? Or?
There are 8 girls and 4 boys, and then 2 pairs, so 14 total. Yeah, I met them at a farmer's market 5 years ago. And we became friends, and we discussed the possibility of shooting a scene for my first film, The Passage. And we did that, and we stayed in touch for years until we decided that we could make a film together again. That was actually the premise. Let's work together. We care about each other, and that's always, the necessary condition for me to make films, that we care about each other. And at first, I wanted to make a film about being a man as a male in Texas, in the South of the United States, and what it meant to be a man, to become a man. So I wanted to work with the little kids of the family, and we Colby the bull rider and other friends of friends. But then I thought that maybe I should have worked with the yin-yang energy, the female and male energy, perhaps of this Texan being or the Southern being, or this human being that had both components, and that's how I started working with Sara and with Colby.
Yeah. Wow, that's an amazing. What were you doing? Social work, or how did you? Or you said you met them in a farmer's market, but what were you doing in this Texas town?
I quit because I had to go there to support my in-laws, so I quit film. I was working for a real estate agent, back to 9-to-5 jobs, back to suit and tie and a handbag, and then I was just eating in the farmers market, and I saw them and connect with them, and I thought maybe we could do something here, and tell a story together.
So at first you said you made a short with them?
It was actually a feature. It's a scene with them, what became a feature, and the feature is about a woman knowing that she's going to die of cancer and letting everything behind her, physically and emotionally. So it's actually a road trip, like a spiritual, an emotional, and physical road trip toward West Texas, and they are part of this film.
Oh, okay. So that was another feature film before this one?
This is the third.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. What was the name of that one? With
That was The Passage, and then came Low Tide,
okay.
and then Stop the Pounding Heart.
Are those first two available? I mean, can I check them out?
They are unreleased in the U.S. This is my very first screening of all my work in the U.S. And there is a funny anecdote that I told them that to feel free to make this film, we should be free of any prejudice, because they'll never be screened in the U.S. anyway. So, we don't have to worry about that. But then in the end, I'm here, and the rest is new films. The other ones are available. They can be arranged, but there's no plan for any.
So they're not on Amazon or Netflix?
They're not.
Or, okay, all right.
They're not.
Well, I think after this one, if you do find a distributor for this one, you will get some interest on that. The one scene that really, I mean, it was like the climax for the whole thing, with the mother and daughter thing. How much scripting went into this? Was it a lot of improvisation, or? So
there is no scripting whatsoever in the film. There are reasons for that. First, it's because I want to pass the baton to the subjects. I want them to be in control of the story and me to follow. Because I am very wary of making a film about myself and my ideology. It's not what I want to do. And the first obstacle that I encounter is the screenplay, which is some sort of my own, so I don't do that. As far as preparation for the scenes, in that case, I just knew that mostly the daughters go to the mother, Leanne, every time they have a question. She's their, confessional. And we talked about, I knew that several, it happens frequently as normal, that they question their own Christianity, meaning worthiness or being worthy of God. And I knew that when Sara was ready to talk about that, whenever she felt that she was ready for us and for herself, that we would film it. And that happened very late during the shoot. As a matter of fact, that happened the very last day, and that's the very last shot of the film, the last 27 minutes. And the first 9 minutes are silence, complete silence, so I didn't even know that I was going to get that dialogue out of it. Without the scene, it would have been a totally different film. So that says a lot about this almost autogenetic quality of the film that just really evolved and resolved at its own pace and in its own way. So, I mean, I hate putting labels on things, but if you had to put a label on this film, what would you call it? A documentary? Would you call it a hybrid? Would you call it fiction? It's hard to define. So by default, I should say it's a hybrid because it has a lot of value as a documentary. The characters are represented faithfully, and at the same time, it is the story I want to tell about them. It is the selection of parts and bits and parts. And there is more. The families knew each other, but I was devout. I mean, there was a risk for Sara to open, her heart emotionally to men of her, boys of her age. We decided, so I was the one who said, let's test, let's test the situation. So I was the one who put the families together, interference. After that, whatever happened, it happened organically. So all this, I think, makes a hybrid film. So is it fair to say that you didn't have a script, but you didn't have an outline either? You were just sort of going with the flow? Absolutely. And I didn't take any notes during the shoot either. Again, I did it because I knew I have a bad memory, so I knew that I would feel completely lost in the middle of the shoot at some point. I would not remember, because I don't review footage ever. So I would not remember what I had shot, and I would not know what film I was making. And I wanted that badly, although I cried a lot. I regretted that choice, but I wanted it because I didn't want to have a preconceived story. So at some point I had to let go of everything and just dedicate myself to depicting what I saw and be present for the moment. So and the cast that you were working with, they all
I mean, they'd known you before from the other films, right?
Yes.
So they knew that, you know, maybe this is not, no one's going to see this. We're just sort of, he's just going to follow us around like reality TV, or, you know,
exactly.
Everyone knows what reality TV is, but to manufacture, you know, conflict or.
I think it is, it's reality. I mean, it's reality work. This is reality filmmaking, and they knew that we might, you know, this film might not even, you know, have existed. I couldn't guarantee that. It was just trying to tell a story together, and they all knew, and they all, you know, our mutual trust and intimacy came before the film. So it is, it was okay with everybody. This was not a result-oriented work.
I'm curious if you know this film, Silent Light, Carlos Regadas. It reminded me a lot of this. I mean, just the girls and the, you know, the landscape. Anyway, I just wondered if you knew about it.
Yeah, of course, I know about it, and I was aware when, especially in some scenes, which is their property, it's the farm, but the way they dress at times, which is just them reading books and doing a little theater, really. In that case was the Chronicles of Narnia, C.S. Lewis. So I knew that there's a resemblance there. I'm glad that there is, in a way, because Carlos, whom I know personally, and I thank him in the credits, that he gave me feedback about the film. But Carlos is a man, despite his success, he doesn't compromise much. That's his vision, and he doesn't compromise, and he's one of those filmmakers that have integrity, and I care about that part. So I'm glad that there is a resemblance.
I'm curious about what was his feedback on your film?
Carlos really liked it. At first, he told me the first time when he saw it, he asked me if I had some moment of stronger, more dramatic conflict between the two, so tension between the two, Colby and Sara. And but again, he didn't really know exactly the way I was working. So when I told him this is whatever is happening, I can't step in and intervene. So he understands, and he watched it twice, and one actually recently, maybe a couple of weeks ago, and he loves it. He really likes it. Yeah.
So what are you working on now? Or you have another thing coming or that you're shooting? Or?
Yeah, I'm starting May the 15th, actually. I'm working with the extended family of the cowboy, the Three Shells family. Those are the ones who were left behind in northern Louisiana in this middle of nowhere, with 60% of the people are unemployed, where most of the people where work in the area are registered felons, so they can't even find a job. And again, it's another story that is about loving each other, so love, need for love is a matter of life and death. In this case, we see it as it's perhaps the love of God, or even the love and faith for, you know, for bull riding, what they do, the cowboys do. So it's a matter of life and death. So it's in a way it's loving. Love becomes a fight for survival, which is a little bit the story of humanity. Not to sound pedantic, but that's what it is. We need to hold on to each other, otherwise we just die alone.
And my last question is a technical question. You were shooting one camera?
I was shooting one camera.
And what kind was it?
It was a Red Epic X. So this is my first time shooting digitally. I did it because I knew that I needed very long takes, because I was pretty much depicting emotions, and I knew that I needed, you know, up to 30-minute, you know, long takes, and one take, obviously. So I switched from 35mm to digital, and it's only a boom microphone, and it's 5 of us working on the film.
So the Epic can shoot 30 minutes straight without having to stop it?
Yeah, the card can shoot up to 30 minutes straight.
Okay.
So I don't cut. I don't cut. Yeah.
And did you own this camera, or you?
No, we rented it.
So how long was the shoot?
54 days.
54 days.
Yeah, it's been pretty long. I mean, the budget is the camera, pretty much.
And what, you spent your own money on that?
I spent almost all my money, my money, with some help from the Houston Film Commission and the Austin Film Society.
Oh.
But but the budgets are, the 3 films together would probably make the budget of a short film, graduation short film at NYU. So.
Right. All right, listen, it was well worth the effort, and I just congratulate you on a
Thank
brilliant
you.
film, and good luck on the next one. I look forward to seeing it.
I appreciate it. Thank you.